and you. Thank you.
Hello everyone, and welcome back to the channel. In today's episode, after everything that has happened, Tuan stands quietly watching Diem as she gently holds their baby sleeping peacefully in the cradle. That calm and tender moment makes him realize something very important. From now on, he's no longer living just for himself, but for Diem and their child. At that moment, Toan makes a promise that deeply moves Diem. He will work harder, earn more money, and do everything he can to give his small family a stable and better life. Will that promise change their lives? And what surprises still lie ahead in Tuan's journey as a father? Watch the video until the end to fully experience this warm and touching moment. And if you enjoy the story of Tuan Diem and their adorable baby, don't forget to hit like and subscribe so you won't miss the upcoming episodes. In the small cozy kitchen, the peaceful afternoon passes slowly. Soft sunlight shines through the window, falling onto the wooden table where Diem sits shelling peanuts to prepare the meal. The quiet cracking sound of the peanut shells blends into the calm atmosphere of the house. From time to time, Diem looks up toward the small cradle nearby. Inside the cradle, the baby lies quietly, wide-eyed, and looking at his mother as if curious about everything around him. When he sees her looking back, he wiggles a little and gives an adorable smile. Diem smiles warmly. As she continues shelling peanuts, she gently talks to her baby as if they are truly having a conversation. She tells him to lie there and play nicely for a bit while she prepares lunch. Her soft, warm voice fills the small home with love. The baby seems to understand. His tiny legs begin to kick lightly in the cradle, and his little hands move non-stop. Every time he smiles, Diem's face lights up even more. Sometimes she stands up and walks over to the cradle, leaning down to look at him with tender eyes. The baby's small mouth moves as if he wants to say something, making Diem laugh softly. She gently touches his tiny hands, then goes back to the kitchen to continue preparing the meal. In the pan, the meat begins to sizzle as it cooks, and the delicious smell spreads through the small kitchen. Diem glances at her baby once more and softly tells him to stay good for a little while longer so she can finish cooking the meat, and then the whole family will eat together. In that simple home, the baby's laughter and the mother's gentle gaze make the atmosphere warmer than ever. The small kitchen is still warm, filled with the delicious smell of roasted peanuts. Diem is standing by the stove stirring the pan when Toan walks in from the yard. As soon as he steps through the door, he hears the baby softly moving in the cradle. Toan smiles and walks over. He bends down to look at the baby, lying quietly with big round eyes fixed on Diem as she cooks. Seeing this, Toan chuckles softly and starts talking to the baby as if father and child have understood each other for a long time. He sits down next to the cradle and gently plays with the baby. The baby seems to enjoy it, his tiny legs kicking lightly under the thin blanket. While roasting peanuts, Diem turns and tells Toan to pick the baby up carefully. Hearing that, Toan carefully lifts the baby with both hands. At first, he is a little clumsy, but once the baby settles calmly in his arms, his face immediately lights up. The baby keeps turning his head toward Diem, who is cooking, as if still looking for his mother. Seeing this, Toan laughs and gently rocks the baby to comfort him. Diem explains that this morning she fed the baby some milk, so he can gradually get used to feeding outside. After eating, the baby usually sleeps for a while, so He will probably get sleepy again soon. Sure enough, after a short while, the baby starts yawning repeatedly, his tiny mouth opening wide, making both Toan and Diem laugh. Diem washes her hands and walks over gently, taking the baby into her arms to lull him to sleep. She softly rocks him, her gentle voice like a soothing melody. Not long after, the baby slowly drifts off to sleep. Tuan stands beside them, looking at mother and child with eyes full of happiness. In that small home, the simple peace of family makes every moment feel precious. In the quiet little house, the baby slowly falls asleep after Diem gently rocks him in her arms. She holds him carefully and takes slow, quiet steps to place him back into the small cradle beside the bed. The baby sleeps peacefully, his breathing soft and steady. His tiny face calm and relaxed. Diem gently pulls a thin blanket over him, her eyes full of love. She stands there, watching her baby for a long moment, as if she still isn't used to the feeling of being a mother. At that moment, Tuan stands behind her quietly, looking at both mother and child. His eyes are full of emotion. Since the baby was born, he has felt more clearly than ever the responsibility of being a husband and a father. Tuan walks closer and looks into the cradle where his baby is sleeping soundly. He gently places a hand on Diem's shoulder and tells her that from now on, he will try even harder. He wants the two of them to have a more stable and better life. He says that even though life is still full of difficulties, he will work hard and earn money to take care of this small family. He doesn't want Diem and their child to worry about the future. Hearing those words, Diem smiles softly. She knows everything Toan says comes from the heart. The two of them stand together beside the cradle, looking at their baby sleeping peacefully. In that quiet moment, Tuan feels a stronger determination growing inside him. From today on, he is no longer living just for himself, but for his small family, Diem and their little baby sleeping peacefully in the cradle. The room remained quiet for a long time after the baby had fallen asleep. Soft sunlight slowly moved across the floor as the afternoon continued peacefully. Diem and Toan sat close to the cradle, speaking in low voices so they wouldn't wake the baby. Every now and then, Diem would lean over slightly to check if the blanket still covered the baby properly. Even the smallest movement from the cradle made her look over immediately. Tuan noticed this and smiled. "You're watching him like he might disappear," he whispered with a gentle laugh. Diem smiled shyly. "I just want to make sure he's comfortable." Tuan looked at the sleeping baby again. The tiny chest rose and fell slowly, and the baby's little fingers curled softly near his face. Seeing such a small, peaceful life in front of him still felt unbelievable. For a moment, both of them simply watched their child sleep. Time passed quietly. Not long after, the baby began to stir slightly in the cradle. His tiny fingers twitched and his legs moved under the blanket. Then his eyes slowly opened. The baby blinked a few times as if adjusting to the light in the room. His round eyes looked around curiously. Diem noticed immediately. "He's waking up," she said softly, her voice full of excitement. Tuan leaned closer to the cradle. The moment the baby saw both of them looking down at him, his face changed. His little mouth opened slightly, and then a bright smile appeared. It was the kind of smile that instantly warmed the whole room. "He's smiling," Toan said, surprised and delighted. The baby kicked his legs happily, as if he was greeting his parents. Diem couldn't help but laugh. The sound of her laughter was soft and warm, filling the small house with joy. She bent down and gently picked the baby up, The baby looked straight at her face, studying her with curious eyes. Then he turned his head toward Toan. For a moment, the baby simply stared at both of them, as if trying to recognize the two people who loved him the most. Tuan gently touched the baby's tiny hand. "Look at him," he said softly. "He's looking at us like he knows exactly who we are." The baby's fingers slowly wrapped around Toan's finger. His grip was small but surprisingly strong. Diem smiled as she watched the moment. "He knows his father," she said gently. Tuan felt a strange warmth in his chest. The baby's tiny hand holding his finger made him feel a deep connection he had never experienced before. He leaned closer and spoke softly to the baby. "Hello there, little one." The baby responded with another small smile, his eyes bright and curious. Diem sat down on the bed while holding the baby carefully in her arms. The baby looked very comfortable there, resting against his mother. From time to time, he made small sounds almost like he was trying to talk. Toan laughed. "I think he's trying to tell us something." Diem looked down at the baby lovingly. "Maybe he's just happy," she said. The baby's little legs continued to kick gently. His arms moved around in the air, and sometimes his tiny hands opened and closed as if he was exploring the world for the first time. Everything about him was small and delicate. Tuan watched every movement with fascination. "I still can't believe he's really here," he said quietly. Diem looked at him and smiled. "I feel the same way." For months, they had waited for this moment. There had been many worries, many long nights, and many unknowns about the future. But now the baby was here, and everything suddenly felt different. The baby looked back and forth between his parents again. When he saw both of them smiling, he started smiling even more, almost as if their happiness made him happy too. Tuan gently tickled the baby's tiny foot. The baby reacted immediately, wiggling and kicking with excitement. "Look at that," Tuan laughed. "He likes playing with you," Diem said. Tuan leaned closer and made a funny face. The baby stared at him seriously for a second, and then suddenly burst into a big, silent baby laugh. His whole body wiggled happily. Both parents laughed at the same time. The sound of laughter filled the small house again. It was such a simple moment, but it felt incredibly precious. Diem gently kissed the baby's forehead. "My little one," she whispered. The baby seemed very comfortable in her arms. He rested his head slightly against her chest and continued looking around the room. Everything must have felt new to him. The sunlight, the voices, the gentle movements. But the two faces he kept returning to were always the same, his mother and father. Tuan reached out and softly touched the baby's cheek. "He looks a little like you," he said. Diem shook her head with a small laugh. "No, I think he looks more like you." They both looked at the baby again. The baby blinked slowly, then gave another peaceful smile. Tuan felt his heart grow full. He had always imagined what it would feel like to become a father, but the real experience was even stronger than he expected. Seeing his child smile at him created a feeling he could not describe with words. It was pride, love, responsibility, and happiness all at once. The baby made another small sound, almost like a tiny laugh. Diem gently rocked him again, though he wasn't crying at all. She simply enjoyed holding him. Tuan watched them quietly. The image of Diem holding their baby looked so natural, so full of warmth. It made the small house feel even more like a real home. Outside, the afternoon breeze moved softly through the yard. Inside, the baby continued to smile and move his tiny hands. Sometimes he would look at his mother, sometimes at his father, and every time he did, both parents would smile back immediately. It felt like the three of them were sharing a silent conversation filled with love. Tuan sat closer beside Diem. The baby noticed and reached one small hand toward him. Tuan gently took the baby's hand again. "Looks like he wants both of us," Toan said with a warm smile. Diem nodded. "Of course. He belongs to both of us." The baby looked perfectly content, surrounded by the voices and warmth of his parents. After a while, Tuan carefully held the baby again, while Diem adjusted the blanket. This time he felt less clumsy. The baby rested comfortably in his arms. Tuan gently rocked him. The baby stared at his father's face with deep curiosity. "Are you studying me?" Tuan joked softly. The baby blinked slowly and smiled again. Diem watched the moment with shining eyes. Seeing the two of them together filled her heart with peace. "This is our family," she said quietly. Tuan looked at her. Then he looked at the baby, and he nodded. "Yes," he said softly. "Our family?" The baby stretched his arms and made another happy sound. The small house felt brighter than ever. In that simple moment, with nothing more than sunlight, laughter, and the sound of their baby's joyful movements, both Diem and Toan felt something deeply important. Their lives had truly changed, and from that day forward, every smile from their little child would remind them just how beautiful their new life together had become.